Alright everybody, back on my Colonial 1. This is the start of part 3. I'm going to continue on working on the engines tonight. This is a lower engine on the bottom of the ship. I'll be taking this off the tree and setting up some LEDs, which I'm using SMDs for the engines since they're so small. I have one in this one back here. Take it off, and that's about how I'm going to have it mounted on the inside. I have to light block all the inside of the small engine parts. I will use some tulip. It's good stuff for light blocking. Since those engines are so small, that's what I'm going to use, is this tulip. I do have the primer. I'm going to apply that first, let it dry, probably overnight. And I can also put on some flat black XF-1, and then after all that's dry I could put the tulip over it. But I've used this on several models before. It does a good job with light blocking. It's good stuff. Not many parts for the small engines on the Colonial 1. These here, one's on top of the ship and one's on the bottom. Same with this one here. These two here are on the side of the ship, and they're like on an angle, like maybe I think it's like a 45-degree angle. Figured I'd share this with everybody when I'm doing, and when I do my homework on these and light block the inside and mount the SMD, I'll show how I have all that done before I seal it up. So I figured I'd share this with everybody what I'm doing with the Colonial 1, working on the engines. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, back on my Colonial 1. Last night I was filming this and the battery went on the camcorder, and I had to charge the battery last night and earlier today. And what I was talking about on the last video is I was working on the engine parts here. I primered them all up. I put one coat of primer. May hit it again with some more primer. And then for extra insurance here, I'm going to use this black tulip. It's perfect for light blocking. Another thing I wanted to mention is I bought this cool little tool from Cult TV Man. It's for photo edge parts, which I have right here. These parts right here, and these four up here. I may have one to spare. Will go on once these parts are together with that SMD that I'm going to have in each one of them. Can we get this on here? Get it right. Let me get it right. Okay. Once these parts are together, these parts here will go on one on each end of the engine, and I'll have to each one of them has this little extension coming out to where you can bend it up to a 90-degree angle and then mount it on the inside of the engine here, which I'm going to go ahead and use canopy glue for that. I don't know what I'm going to do with the turbines yet. If I'm going to primer those up or just paint them over with the paint I'm going to use. I may use gunmetal or a steel. I'll have to think about that. I have everything set up that I need. I've got my paintbrush here ready to go. I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1. Tonight, like I said, I'll probably maybe hit it with another coat the primer here and then let it set overnight, and then sometime this week hit it with some tulip. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Figured I'd share this with everybody, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. Still working on the small engines for the Colonial 1. You can see on the inside here, I already light blocked it. I hit it with a couple coats of primer and one coat of flat black, even with the small engines right here. I may have to hit it with another coat of flat black and maybe some tulip. I have an SMD in this engine here and this small one here, and I'm going to hit some power now and take a look at what it looks like. Kill the overhead light. This small engine here looks pretty good. A little bit of a light leak on you can see it right here, and then on the bottom, but don't look too bad at all. This other engine here don't look bad at all either. See on the inside and the other side. This engine don't look too bad. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is probably hitting it with some more flat black and try some more SMDs in the engines and see if there's any more light leaks. More than likely I'm going to have to hit this with some tulip where it's showing the most light leaks. Figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. This is Saturday, May 23rd, and I've been working on the Colonial 1. One thing I noticed on the instructions here, it shows these blast guards on the back. They're like on a 45-degree angle, which I worked on today and got them to be on a 45-degree angle. I eyed it, did the best I could to get them to look like it shows on the instructions. They don't come at a 45-degree angle. What I did, I used this cool little tool here. Picked it up at the model store quite a while ago. It's a Hanger 9 heat sealing iron. You can adjust the heat from low to high. I had it set at about 4, and all I did was heat the end right here and eyed it to where I got it to be on a 45-degree angle. I like the results. Turned out pretty decent. I'm going to be working more on the Colonial 1 today, and hopefully sometime this weekend take it down to the spray booth and hit it with a coat of paint. I'm going to work on the lighting also. I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1. I suggest everybody to pick something like this up at your craft store or hobby shop. It's only $20 with a little bit of tax. I watched some videos on YouTube that some guys use this for shaping fiber optics. I'm going to give that a try too down the road, see how that works out. So I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. I'm going to go ahead and use one strip of double density taped LED on the inside for the lighting. I'm going to have to cut it in sections, because about right where my finger is where I'm going to have the hollow rod going through for the power to run through the bottom right here. So I think 2 strips is going to be just too much lighting, so I'm only going to go with 1 strip. Like I said, I'll have to cut it in sections. I think it's going to give it a better even lighting for the conning tower and the main part of the ship. I'm going to go ahead and fire it up here. Kill the overhead light. I think one strip's going to do the job. We'll go ahead, put the camera down, and put the conning tower on. Alright. The lighting looks pretty good and even. Both sides. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just use one strip of double density, but I'm going to have to cut it down and do some more soldering with some magnetic wire. I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1 with the lighting, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. I already installed the double density lighting in the main part of the ship. I had to cut the strip down because right here is where the main power wires are going to run through to the tube in the bottom. I only had to sacrifice 3 off of one section of the tape back here, because I'm going to have wire running through here where my finger is for the bottom engine. I'm glad I double checked everything. I'm going to go ahead and hit some power here. It's going to look awful bright. Put this on here. I'm not going to put the conning tower on, but everybody can get an idea what it's going to look like. It's going to look really good. It's really bright, and I know the camcorder is going to really play tricks with the lighting, but it really looks good, and that's what I've been working on today. I'm also going to be working on the engines as well with the SMDs that I'm going to use. Figured I'd share this with everybody on this holiday weekend on what I've been doing with the Colonial 1, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1 and a better look at the work that I did so far on the inside of the Colonial 1. I have it temporarily on my stand here so I can get a better look, and everybody else can too. I'll point out what I did. I'm using double density LED tape for the lighting of the main part of the ship. Both were the same length. I had to cut this one here down because right where the pointer is a hole for the engine, small engine on the bottom. I'll have to have the wire coming through there and running down through the tube. So I had to shorten this LED tape. The effect's still good. It looks good. And then on the small engines here, I hit it with some tulip on the very end there. I don't know if it'll pick it up on this camera, but it probably will. For light blocking, this is the tulip I used. I'll probably use it on the other engines as well, but one goes on the bottom of the ship and the other one goes on top. I'll have SMDs in both of these, plus the flickering engine effect I'll have in the back. I'm taking my time with this, no rush. Hopefully maybe before the holiday weekend is over, I'll have it down in the spray booth and paint the first coat of have it right here, because the bottom of the ship is light blue, and the Tamiya XF-23 is what I'm going to use. And then on the top I'm going to use the white X-2, and then I'm going to put a wash on the white, and this is what I'm going to use for the wash. Everything should turn out good. I picked this up at the hobby shop the other day, so I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I've been doing with the Colonial 1, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. I got it hooked up to some power. Better look at it with it being on the stand, and it looks really sweet. I like the effect. The back side here, I got it temporarily, the heat shields just temporarily on there. What I like about the Colonial 1, it's gonna really look cool when it's all finished. The lighting looks really sweet on the windows. If I didn't want the engines to have a flickering effect, I could just use what lighting I have in there right now, because the engines look pretty cool. But I'm going to have to experiment and see with the flickering 5mm SMD, or not SMD, but 5mm flickering LED. I may have to use some fiber optics with this kit. I'll have to see what I'm going to do, but just with the way it's lit right now, it looks pretty cool. Let me see, get down and get a better shot. That looks really cool. Get a shot on this side here. And then this side here. I figured I'd share this with everybody on what I'm doing with the Colonial 1, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. Tonight I've been working on the engines, these two small ones right here. I put the SMDs in. What I'm pointing at, there's one right here, and once I mount these two pieces together, I'll test it out, see if there's any light leaks. There shouldn't be. I put some tulip inside right where the SMD goes. It should do a great job on light blocking. The same thing with this engine here. You can see the SMD. I don't know if it's going to show good enough, but you can see right there, that's the SMD. I hit the other three engines with tulip. I'll let them dry overnight. To hold the SMDs in place, I just used your basic old Testors model glue. The engines here, the inside grills, I used the two grills that are here. I used flat aluminum XF-16, and with the turbines on the inside of the engines here, I used the same. I used the flat aluminum, And then on the inside wall of the engines I use gunmetal right here, X-10. So I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1. Tomorrow I'll probably put the SMDs in these 3 engines here and test them out to see if there's any more light leaks. There shouldn't be. The same with the small engines. And everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. These are the engines in the back of the Colonial 1. I worked on it today. What I did is, you see 2 fiber optics right here for the back of the engine. They're 2mm. I have a 5mm flickering LED in here. What I did is took this hollow tube, I cut it down to probably about where my thumb is. One end was the LED and the other end is where the fiber optics are. I use this iron right here at high setting, and I flipped it over on the side, and I just held the fiber optic up to it till I melted it to where it would fit perfectly in the back of the engine. And then to hold the fiber optics in place, I used the glue gun. It didn't seem to bother the fiber optics. Now I'm going to go ahead and give some power on, turn the power on so everybody can get a look at it. I also have to, of course, light block the fiber optics. Go ahead and shut the overhead light off. Everybody can get a good look at it. That's at 9 volts. I'm going to bump it up to 12. So that's what I'm going to have it run on, is 12 volts. And that's 12 volts right there. And I'm sure this camera is not going to do justice to the flickering effect, but I like the results, how it turned out. So now all I have to do is get ready to finish the small engines and start putting in this part to the inside of the Colonial 1. I figured I'd share this with everybody, what I'm doing with the Colonial 1, and it turned out pretty cool. So I figured I'd share this with everybody on what I'm doing with the Colonial 1, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, another update on my Colonial 1. Tonight is Tuesday, May 26th, and I'm working on the engines. This one I just sealed up. All I have to do now is maybe hit it with another coat of primer. The seams real smooth, you can't even feel them. I don't think I have to do any sanding. One thing I wanted to point out, I'll zoom in right here, right where the toothpick is where the SMD is, and I got the wire running through, and then a hole I drilled for the wire to go through. I used regular glue to hold it in place, Models Testers glue. The other 3 engines I have light blocked, and I used Tulip. They'll each get 1 SMD in each engine. So that's what I'm working on tonight. I wanted to share with everybody, and once this is all finished, I'll hook up some power to it, see how it turns out, and everybody have a good day. Alright everybody, back on my Colonial 1. I'm still working on the engines. This is Friday night, May 29th. I'm almost finished with the engines. This one right here to your right, all light blocked. I hit it with a couple coats of primer, a couple coats of flat black, and tulip. And about right where my finger is where the SMD is. Very small. I centered it. All I have to do now is put it together. This engine here is finished. It's all glued and ready to go. This small piece right here mounts right in here, and that's where I'm going to run the wire through. You can see right here, if I can get an up close shot, I made a little trench in the center of it to run the wire through, since it's real small wire for those SMDs, which is a big plus. This is one of the bottom engines that go on the bottom of the Colonial one. That's all finished, ready to get some touch-up paint on it, primer, and then paint it dark gray. These two small engines here are finished. One goes on the top of the Colonial, the other one on the bottom. This is the main engine right here. It's finished. I have 2mm fiber optics, and the previous video I had this lit up. It looks pretty cool. I used heat glue to hold the fiber optics in place, and didn't seem to do any thing to the fiber optics. It worked fine. Before I mount this into the model, I'll have to do it for the back here, because it's just sitting on here right now. It's not glued in. So I'm going to call this a wrap for part 3, where I'll try to finish with the engines tonight. And everybody have a good day.